Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tobin Industrial, and once again we are doing a review on a CB radio. Well, we've been doing some different radios over the past few days, but today it is a CB radio, and it is the Cobra 29 LTD Classic. Now, you would say to yourself, well, you know, it's just an AM radio. But this here AM radio is probably one of the most popular AM radios that's known to man. And the question is, why? Well, if you look at the radio, it is absolutely packed full of functions. And as a matter of fact, it does have more features than a typical mobile sideband radio. I'm going to go over the features with it for you. And it's a typical CB radio, typical layout. All the bottom buttons here. You have volume, which is your on-off switch, also. Squelch. You have a dynamic, which you don't see in some sideband radios, so that makes it a bit special. You have an RF gain here. You have a delta tone, which you don't see in most sideband radios. However, since it's not sideband, it doesn't have a clarifier, so that kind of defeats that. But anyway, that's a delta tone. And you have a SWR calibration button, which is directly incorporated with this switch here. This is a three-way switch. You've got signal and RF, and in the middle gives you your SWR, and of course down on the bottom is where you calibrate through your meter. You bring it up to the calibration mark through this button here, and then you put it on SWR, and then you get your SWR reading. The next button to this is your noise blanker and your auto noise limiter. You can put it in 3 stages: off, ANL, or ANL plus NB. The next switch is just a two-way switch, and it switches from CB to PA, and you see that pretty commonly on the sideband radios. And the bright dim switch is also another thing that you don't see on sideband, not too many of them anyway. So it's that turns down, I think it's the light of your meter here, I'm pretty sure, and maybe the channel readout, and maybe the meter. But I can't say for sure because that's the only thing that's wrong with this radio. The light is missing. Anyway, we'll move on. You have your channel selector, and you have your channel readout. And we also have an RX and TX light here. And so when you're in RX mode, it's green, and when you transmit, it turns red. And we also have an antenna warning indicator light. This light will blink or stay on if you have too high a SWR. So really, if you look at the radio in that light, you'd say, yeah, that's probably why the radio is so popular just for an AM radio. I would say it's probably the most popular and the most sought after AM radio. On top of that, the Cobra 29 LTD Classic has fantastic RX and has fantastic TX. I'm going to look at the rear part of the radio now. And it's just a basic radio. Just a basic radio here. You have your power supply. You have a PA plug-in, you have your external speaker plug-in, and you have your PL259 connection. This radio was made in December of 1996, and it says it was made in China. And there is a serial number there. And yeah, it's really nice that they put the date of manufacture. That's cool. And no bracket with this radio, unfortunately, but that's not a big deal. Brackets can be easily made. And the mic is 4-pin, and I don't believe that this is the original mic. Not too sure about that. Anyway, we won't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to power this up and see what it does. Turn on the power supply. And action. Okay. Now, I just want you to point something. I just want to point something out to you here. The meter is reading halfway. That's because my TV's on, and I have a leaky capacitor in the TV or something that's causing QRM, and so it's not a very good day for listening if somebody is not so loud on the radio. Anyway, there's nobody on, and all you're going to hear at this point in time is the TV noise, which is sitting at about maybe 4.5 pounds. We'll swelch that out. There we go. Now, I don't have anybody on side on channel 1. It's been really quiet here, so I can't give you a RX, and I don't have no real viable way of giving you a good TX. But anyway, I'll just show you the RX TX button here. Will turn red when I key up, and as you see, the meter moves right to the top here, and the radio is putting out, I don't know if you can see the meter up there, it's putting out nearly 5 watts, just a little over 4 watts, just about 5, so we'll say 4.5, just to say. I don't think I mentioned this button. It's the channel 9 switch here, the switch right here. Sorry about that if I didn't mention it, because I think I moved on to something else. I just realized that. And it's a 40 channel radio, of course. Now, I guess you're wondering, what does it look like inside? Well, let's see. Okay, what I'm going to do today is do a live video of the radio, but then I'm also going to try to take some photographs, because I've discovered I can probably take clearer photographs with the camera than I can take clearer videos, if that makes sense to you. Anyway, back here you have a transistor, and it's in a little heatsink unit, and so that should be able to dissipate heat quite well. And down here we have the IC, the PLL chip, and as you can see, the radio is well laid out, probably better than most radios that you see on the market, considering this was made in 1996. So I'll try some photographs for you now.